I don't think it's really hit home the amount of damage that Donald Trump has done to our farmers. This is old Texas Paul. Hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I really do. I hope you're having a good day and hope you're having a good cup of coffee. Yeah, I don't think people have, including our farmers, have really had it sink in yet what's happened. Other nations like Argentina and Brazil have all expanded their soybean production. There's no fixing this. Those markets aren't coming back. China's not coming back to us to buy the way they once did. This is permanently broken. And I honestly, I actually don't know that it's going to make a difference with farmers. Because I've never met anybody that was Maga. I never met somebody that painted Trump on the side of their barn that didn't put that cult first, even over their farms. I really don't believe that they're going to come back to reality and do what needs to be done, which is to put Democrats back in power, to even remotely have a chance of recovering any of those markets.
American farmers have destroyed themselves by voting for this Trump regime. Their hate for so many groups of people that they have learned to demonize allowed them to vote themselves out of business by voting for Donald Trump and today's MAGA Republicans. I don't know what else to say. We already know how the American soybean farmer was decimated. This fall, China, their biggest customer, placed exactly 0 orders for soybeans from American farmers because of Donald Trump's regime's tariffs. They went to Brazil. We all saw the videos of the farmers crying in Arkansas, I believe it was. Please, Mr. President, we love you, but come save us. Oh, you guys, it just gets so much worse. So you know how our $20 billion in taxes, yours, Mr. Farmer, and mine, was just snatched from us and given to the leader of Argentina to help keep their version of Donald Trump in power? Your 20 billion and my 20 billion? This was screenshot on our Department of Treasury's cell phone from our Department of Agriculture. Ready? Finally, just a heads up, I'm getting more intel, but this is highly unfortunate, the text said. We bailed out Argentina yesterday, and in return, the Argentines are removing their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price, and sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China. Soy prices are dropping further because of it. This gives China more leverage on us. And he responds, Besant responds, on a plane, Scott, but I'll call you when I land. You guys voted for this. The Democrats, who y'all hate so much, you've been programmed to hate your fellow neighbor, your family members. You guys voted for this. We warned all of you because we're not in a cult. We could see how these decisions affect businesses, affect our farmers. We were fighting for farmers, telling you don't vote for this, and you voted for this. Your tax dollars, this Trump administration just used to fuck you even further, Mr. Soybean farmer, and grains. This affects a lot of other farmers, not just soybean farmers. Anybody who harvests and sells grains to China. Here you go.
Have you guys heard about the crisis that Trump has created for American farmers? It's all over my For You feed. A lot of these farmers are about to lose their farms right now, and this is an alarming situation. This is directly related to Trump's policies, specifically the tariffs. He set the tariffs so high on China that they're no longer purchasing soybeans in the USA. Soybeans are the biggest export of farmers to China. And right now, China's not importing any of our soybeans. Now they're buying the soybeans from Brazil and Argentina. And get this, our taxpayer dollars. And what did Argentina do? They lowered the export rate on all of their soybeans to China so that they can sell them even cheaper. Now, if there's anything that pisses off conservative Republicans, it's our government funding another country and enabling them to outbid us on our products. A lot of our farmers are stuck with soybean crops that they can't even give away. Trump has promised to give them a subsidy, which kind of turns them into welfare recipients because they're taking a government handout because the government screwed them over to begin with. But these subsidies are going to be too little and too late for a lot of farmers who have already lost their farms. So it's no wonder that Donald Trump's latest approval rating has dropped to an all-time low of 37%. When I tell you that his own people are the ones that he needs to be scared of, I mean it. Farmers have overwhelmingly voted for Trump. You can call it karma, but it's nothing to celebrate because this is going to hit the American economy really hard.
He put out a message on Truth Social last hour saying that he's going to be meeting with President Xi of China and that he will discuss soybeans. Do you put much stock in that? Does that make you feel better?
Well, I mean, what good's it going to do to discuss soybeans at almost November? Because Senator Tester can correct me if I'm wrong here, but in November, the Brazilians will start cutting. They'll be in full swing by December. They don't need us. I mean, you're going to wait to have a discussion over selling soybeans when Brazil's in full bore? What bargaining power are we going to have then?
That's a good point.
We're looking at 1 to 3 farms. 1 out of every 3 farms going out of business right now.
Representative and farmer herself, Deanne Vaught, explains the message her and other agriculture leaders discussed during Tuesday's public meeting in Stuttgart. They say it's a tough situation for farms, many of which have been around for decades.
The heartache of having to decide if I can carry on with the 5th generation farm or the 4th generation farm, and knowing that it lands on me if I don't move forward. That is a lot for a farmer to carry on their shoulders.
Now, despite a recent report from the U of A Systems Division of Agriculture showing net farm income expected to rise 22% this year, experts like Jeremy Ross say the math on the ground tells a different story.
At $10 and you harvest a 55 bushel crop, that's $550, and it costs you $580 to put that in, then you're $30 in the hole.
Meaning many farmers are operating at a loss with debts that carry over year to year.
The truth is, it doesn't really matter what you grow. You are projected to lose money on an acre, really no matter what you've planted on it.
Brandy Carroll with the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation says inflation, tariffs, and global conflicts have all driven up costs, while crop prices remain depressed. And while experts say the Big Beautiful Bill Act will provide $66 billion in new farm investment starting in 2026, Carroll says by then it's too late.
And so they're facing a really hard choice right now, how to keep their families on their farm and how to maintain their way of life. And so there will be a lot of people making really hard choices.
It's a shame the corporate greed that has engulfed our country. It's a shame. It's a shame. Because Trump policies are influenced by corporates. Trump wants our farmers to become bankrupt so that these corporates can buy these farms. Trump wants these corporates to buy these farms so that our farmers cannot produce enough groceries. Trump wants our farmers not to produce enough groceries so that grocery prices can rise. Trump wants grocery prices to rise so that his friends can become billionaires. Let's discuss this at the end of this video.
Okay, if you're a farmer or a rancher or you live in rural America, you need to listen to this because Republicans want to make your health insurance completely unaffordable. So here's what's happening. At the end of this year, as you all know, the ACA premium tax credits are expiring and Republicans desperately want to allow them to expire. And more than anybody else, rural Americans are going to get absolutely crushed. More than a quarter of farmers and ranchers get their health insurance through the ACA marketplace. That's because most family farms and small agricultural businesses don't offer employer coverage. And nearly all of these Americans depend on those subsidies to afford their health insurance. Now, you probably know already that when these tax credits expire, which they will if Republicans have their way, premiums are going to go up by minimum 75% nationwide. But for rural Americans, it will be a 107% average increase. That's more than double what you're paying now. Let's give you some real-world numbers. A 60-year-old couple making $82,000 a year would see their monthly premium jump from $581 to $1,800 a month. That is over a 200% increase. One farmer from Iowa, Nick Larson, calculated that his family will realize an immediate tax increase of at least $3,000 a year, maybe up to $15,000 a year. Lori Hunt, who is a 53-year-old breast cancer survivor, also from Iowa, said that her premiums would go from $8 a month to $650 a month. That's more than her mortgage, and she says she simply could not afford it. She'd have to simply cancel it. A breast cancer survivor. In fact, if Republicans allow these credits to expire, nearly 4 million Americans will lose their coverage because they simply can't afford it. Think about what this means for farming communities who are working in physically demanding, high-risk conditions. Health coverage isn't a luxury. It's what enables you to keep your farm running. And yet, here we are, conservative leaders are urging Trump to let these healthcare tax credits expire. And Trump is all for that, and also all for sending $20 billion to Argentina, because I guess they need it more than us. Anyway, remember when your health insurance bill doubles in January that Republicans chose Argentina and billionaires over the farmers who feed this country. So much for America, or Americans first.
We have to talk about this soybean farmer situation. Yes, I am fully aware that 90% of farmers in America voted for Trump, but we still need to talk about the soybean farmer situation. America, Argentina, and Brazil are the biggest producers of soybeans in the world. America used to export a ton of soybeans to China until the tariffs hit, and now they have nowhere to sell these soybeans. Hence why soybean farmers are drowning and begging for help. China turned to Argentina to buy soybeans from. Argentina, in which is rumored to be getting a $20 billion bailout check from America. That's right. We are supposedly giving a $20 billion bailout check to the country that's putting our farmers out of business. Trump announced today that he will be meeting with Xi in the middle of November to discuss soybeans. And he says they will talk about the soybean situation. However, it really won't matter because by the time he talks to Xi, Brazil will be in the mix. Brazil's soybean crops come in December, so that doesn't really help our farmers. Some of these soybean farmers are looking to get into the canola oil business, but they can't fill out the paperwork because the government is shut down. It's almost coming off like America isn't first in this administration, and it's almost like they are setting these farmers up to fail on purpose so corporations and other countries can come in and buy the farmland at very cheap value. And that is why I think this soybean farmer situation should be shared. It is much more than just farmers needing a bailout. It's a whole slew of anything but America first.
I have a question for white conservative parents in the United States. Have y'all picked out your son's coffins yet? No, seriously. Have you stood in the showroom and run your hand over the smooth wood trying to decide if cherry or oak will look better when it's covered by a flag? Have you picked the song you'll play while you bury a boy who still has his baby teeth in your attic somewhere? Have you figured out how to stay upright as he's lowered into the ground and you're expected to accept that folded triangle on his behalf? Do you think you'll cry when you realize it was your vote that shoveled the dirt over his face? Because one day, if you keep cheering this on, you'll be doing all of that. And when you do, you won't get to hide behind slogans or other people's sacrifice. You won't get to pretend it wasn't your ballot, your shrug, your silence, your cheering on pointless cruelty that sent your child over there. You applauded when the commander-in-chief lit new conflicts like disposable matches. You smirked while his drunk Fox News enforcer drove out women and people of color from the military. Did you think the poverty draft would skip your middle-class zip code forever? Do you understand how racist you have to be to insist that black and brown folks aren't good enough to go die in foreign deserts on your behalf? Do you understand how ignorant you have to be to not see that that means your sons will go die in their stead? Or if they do make it home, are you ready to handle the aftermath of a war that never really ends for him? Are you prepared to raise your grandbabies well into your 80s after your boy comes home broken and violent to a VA with no appointments, no therapy, no hope to offer him? Are you ready for that 3 a.m. call from the sheriff letting you know that your son attacked the mother of his children and now your grandchildren are the most invisible kind of war orphan other than the brown war orphans he was ordered to create on our behalf? You thought you could outsource the blood and the grief that fed your cruel celebration forever. But you can't. The sacrifice that you took for granted because it was being given by people you think are below you is now at your door knocking in uniform. I hope that someday when you're left with nothing but boxes of photographs under your bed, the joy of superiority you felt as you watched a wife-beating alcoholic chastise the men and women who have given everything for our country is enough to bring you comfort in your self-imposed loneliness. Because I know they say we all enter this world alone and we leave it the same way, but it will be your decisions that sent your babies to die in the desert, and it will be your decisions that brought them back in a squadron of pine boxes nailed together by the votes of parents just like you.
For a long time, I have made disparaging comments about our beloved commander-in-chief, but I now see the light of his genius. He's playing like 4D chess, and I'm just a little checkers kind of player. I mean, first he tariffs China, and then they retaliate by no longer buying our soybeans, which is a $20 billion industry that supports American farmers. So they're hurting. So then Donald Trump, so smart, oh my God, so smart. He says that he'll give those farmers some of all the money he's getting in tariffs. And then he goes and he gives $20 billion to Argentina. Oh my God, this is genius, guys. Oh my God, so smart. My mind is just like, wow. And Argentina is the largest soybean competitor to American farmers in the world. And then Argentina goes and sells $12 billion of soybeans to China so that China doesn't, suffer from the fact that they're no longer buying our soybeans. Yeah. Oh my God, guys, I was just so delusional not to see the absolute genius that is Donald Trump before. And I have seen the light now, and I am just so profoundly grateful for dear leader.
My message is, as I see it from my state of Iowa, it's beginning to look like the 1980s agriculture depression all over. Congress was too slow to respond in the 1980s. Thousands of farmers went out of business in the 1980s, and that should concern all of us, because with only 2% of the people producing all the food for the 98%, we can't let the destruction of the family farmer happen in 2025 like it did in the 1980s.
Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video to the end. It's amazing. My name is Anthony, and now let's discuss in which retail shops do you do your shopping? Tell me in the comment section. Where do you do your shopping? Do you know, until 1990s, most of us used to do shopping in regional chains or these local stores. That's where most of us used to do shopping. But at the moment, as I make this video, 4 retail chains make up 65% of United States market. True, Walmart, Kroger, Costco, Albertsons. Where do you shop? Tell me. Walmart, Kroger, Albertsons, Costco. Where do you shop? Tell me in the comment section. Where do you shop? Again, let's go to the beef industry. I saw a speech by Joe Biden whereby he was saying that the beef industry is having a monopoly. Yes, true. The beef industry is having a monopoly. Now, which brand do you buy when it comes to beef? Which? JBS, Kajil, National Parking. Where do you shop? Which brand do you consider when doing your beef purchases. And maybe you might decide, oh, I'm not going with this top 4. Me go with this new name. And it comes out that this new name is just a subsidiary of this major brand. So corporates have really taken over our country. When only 4 retail chains control 65% of United States markets, they can decide on grocery prices. They can decide on what to sell. They can decide on what to promote. So this monopoly is really bad. And this monopoly has really made them bigger, maybe even than the government. Because Joe Biden didn't even scratch a bit when it came to dismantling this beef cartel. Joe Biden wasn't able even to move an inch on the scale. So these corporates, they have become massive than our government. Why? They are donating to the Republican and to the Democrat side. They are donating. It's a uniparty. They are donating. So here comes the problem. When our farmers are going bankrupt, Trump has no incentive of bailing them out. He has no. Because this guy will continue being in business and grocery prices will become regular, up, down, up, down. But if most farmers are out of business, maybe for most of us or for some of us who shop at the local stores won't be able to do so because there'll be no supply. So what will happen? These corporates will start having more power over us, the consumers. So guys, as far as these farmers don't know nothing about policies, or maybe they keep voting against their interests, we should strive to keep them in business. Because man, it's either the farmers or the corporates. It's either the farmers or Walmart, Kroger, Costco, and these other retail chains. We have to make a choice. And it's not simple. It's not simple. It's not easy. Not easy. It's not easy. So tell me your thoughts in the comment section. What you think about corporate greed in the United States. Because the problem we have as a country is not immigration, not Medicare, Medicaid, none of that bullshit. None of that. None of that. The problem we have is corporate greed. This CEO's main aim is making profit for their shareholders. Because me, I'm the CEO of BlackRock, this Vanguard or any other venture firm. I've bought some shares in your company or in your corporation or in your whatever. At the end of the day, what I want is quick returns. That's what I want. And I'll give you pressure to make those quick returns so that I can give my interest to these shareholders. So these corporate CEOs are always at pressure because there is this phone calls. Oh, my investment. How is it doing? How is it doing? So who bears the major burden? It's the consumer. Me and you. Me and you. So this country, it's designed in such a way that me and you, the common man, we are holding the table, and on top is the table whereby these billionaires feed. And if we decided no more, man, our country will collapse. It will. Because I can't explain. I can't explain. I'll be in a lot of trouble. I'll make a separate video explaining corporate greed in US.